Trust me, you guys, you're not going to want to eat anything while watching this show because... Oh, I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna throw up real quick. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today we're talking all about Ju-On Origins, the latest Netflix original horror series. This thing can be real creepy and really gross, as you just saw it. I got a little sick today. If you're a huge fan of the Grudge, you're gonna really recognize a lot of the elements here because this is actually expanding the Grudge lore a little bit, so it follows along the same story beats. If you're familiar with that old classic, you're gonna love this show. Now, before I dive into what I liked and what I didn't really like too much about Ju-On Origins, if it's your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James. You're a part of the family now, so go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel and tap on that bell as well, just to stay up to date with any new content. Yes, guys, we're talking Hamilton because it drops on Disney Plus on Friday, and I've never been in the room where it happens, so I'm very excited to just give you guys my first reactions to it. If you missed it, I just dropped a boatload of Avatar content. You can find that playlist right at the top of the screen. Trust me, it is a fun time. Don't forget to like this video because it helps the channel a lot, and go ahead in the comments below and let me know what you think of this if you watch it, or if you're even interested in Ju-On Origins. It's a little scary, so you better get prepared mentally and physically, clearly. Alrighty, enough of that. Let's get right into Ju-On Origins. Like I said, if you're a fan of The Grudge, you're really going to get familiar very quickly with this series. It's directed by Sho Miyake, and the script is written by Hiroshi Takahashi and Takashige Ichise. I was actually really surprised to see that there were only 6 episodes here, only 30 minutes long a piece, because I figured we're getting 12 episodes, they're going to be an hour long, and I'm going to have to watch this show through my fingers. You know, I still do that sometimes. I get a little scared. Come on now. The story surrounds a single house and those who have suffered in it, and there's one man who has this childhood connection to the house, and he's trying to figure out what's going on and to hopefully warn people to not live there as long as they can help it, because yeah, there's some creepy stuff that goes on, man. When a ghost comes at you, bro, if someone's telling you to run away, I'm gonna run away. But of course no one listens, and we get Ju-On Origins. So we're following around this one paranormal investigator, and he's actually very adamant about trying to figure out what happened to this one girl and her family. So you got ghosts, you got paranormal activity, and you got a lot of people making dumb decisions. It's your classic horror show, is it not? Alrighty, so let's get into what really worked here, because like I said, the Grudge fans and fans of horror are gonna actually find something to like, and if anything, something to love. Now personally, I do like horror more than I used to, and I found that there was a really effective score here. It was so chilling. The piano keys were so subtle but really sharp. The violins were screeching just enough, and then eventually you hear some rumbling in the background. So not only just the score was great, but the sound design was really good here, and it played up the tension. And trust me, a lot of those suspenseful moments are due to the score itself, and you probably want to watch this with headphones in, or at least a really good sound system, to try to get that little bit of sound design. But if you're watching it on your traditional television, you're going to probably get a little spooked because, yeah, the score here is just really, really good. And if you're wondering, were there some jump scares because of the sound design and because of the score? Sure, there were maybe like 1 or 2, but for the most part, this strayed away from those cheesy jump scares. However, it was cheesy in some other regards, but we'll get there. Now, when it comes to the acting, this show really revolves around 3 main characters for most of the season. You have Yasuo, who is one of the investigators, played by Yoshiyoshi Arakawa, and then you have Haruka, who's played by Yuina Kiroshima. She used to be one of the homeowners at this haunted house and eventually moved out. And then you have a transfer student named Kiyomi, played by Ririka. The story revolves around those 3 characters, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, there's only one standout, and that's Ririka. The emotion, I mean, the amount of depth to her character, I think was just really well done. You can tell Kiyomi is this transfer student who grows up to really start to carry a lot of that tragedy in her childhood with her, and I think it's just excellently portrayed. It's tough to stomach sometimes. It really is a tough watch because you can just tell that the emotion is just bleeding off of the screen, and I love that about her performance. The other 2 aren't terrible, but they really are just kind of bland, and their performances are safe, and it really is just kind of a by the numbers approach. I really just can't say too much more because I don't want to spoil anything either. And then something that I noticed right away that I think a lot of other audiences will notice too is that the cinematography is really excellent here. I think the shot selection is pretty good outside of some really cheesy moments where the camera clearly zooms in to the person that's standing behind your main character, and it's like, yeah, I get it, there's a ghost there, right? We can see it. But outside of that, the cinematography is really well done, and it actually plays really nicely with the serious tone of the show. It's not always too cheesy like I just said, but I love the colors that they play with. There's a lot of pinks sometimes, and there's some blues, and then it's dark. Whoever the DP was for this season did a fantastic job. And then there are some moments that are only unique because of the cinematography. Like there's this black and white sequence in episode 5. You'll know it when you get there, but it really just drew me in, and it's one of the most memorable things about this season. Now, if you can handle grotesque horror, like lots of blood and some really suggestive themes, I think you would find yourself at home with this season. But boy, I was taken by surprise, to be honest with you, especially in episode 4, which showcased the most disturbing moment that I've seen in 2020, whether it be from TV or movies, and then one of the most bloodiest moments that I've seen too. So you have to really be comfortable and mentally prepare for some gore in this, because Lord, let me tell you, I was not ready, and I had to turn around. I legit was getting sick. I was feeling my lunch come up a little bit. Ugh, that's too much information, I'm sorry. And then there are going to be some trigger moments that might affect you as a viewer. I know they definitely did for me, because I don't do very well with domestic and child abuse at all when it's depicted in movies or TV, and then there are some moments of sexual abuse, so you're gonna have to really prepare yourself, because this season dives deep into that, and I did not expect it to go that route. So the shock value was there, and then after a while I'm thinking, okay, is this necessary? And then the jury's still out on that one. Now, when it comes to the story, I think it provides some interesting angles. I haven't seen a horror show or movie kind of take on some of these elements before, but the thing is, it loses steam as we go from episode to episode. By episode 3 and 4, I started to notice that the story was kind of falling off the ledge a little bit, and then when we got to 5 and 6, especially that finale, I kind of saw it coming, and in a way, I definitely wasn't as engaged as I used to be in episodes 1 and 2, for example. It definitely provides some unique concepts when it plays with time and space, and I like that it actually kind of centered around the house. The thing is, there are some cheesy and cliche horror tropes that I picked out and kind of sighed and rolled my eyes at, and that kind of breaks the immersion just a little bit. Especially with episode 3, there's one line where he says, I have to stop them from going to the house because they're gonna suffer too, or something like that, and I'm like, okay, I get it. You didn't have to say that. We knew your intentions, and you just kind of put it on the nose. And then in the last half of the season, I noticed that there were some moments where the tones just kind of clashed. You want it to be a serious horror show, and then there's cheesy moments and definitely, like I just said, cliche horror tropes. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I really understand what you're trying to do here, but I thought you were trying to be different and unique. Instead, some moments were just part of the course if you're a horror fan. So overall, Ju-On Origins really is one of those additions to a well-known franchise that works sometimes and falls short in other areas. Again, I'm so glad they went with that 6-episode, 30-minute apiece digestible approach, because if they didn't, I think that this season would have suffered a lot more than it did towards the end. It started off so strong and I was invested. Then it kind of got into this weird space where it almost felt predictable and a little cheesy. The style is great, cinematography is really cool, I like those black and white moments, and there's enough here for, I think, horror fans to really enjoy. The thing is, it didn't do anything to put it over the top, and it didn't blow my socks off either. When it ended, I was just like, okay. Sure, there were some really shocking moments and clearly some gut-wrenching moments, guys, but Ju-On Origins never really breaks out of that decent to good category, but it's one that if you're invested as a Grudge fan, and if you're even mildly curious about, I would say give it a shot. Also, I can imagine that this might have played better around Halloween time. I kind of wish Netflix would have released it then. But nonetheless, I was happy to sit down with Ju-On Origins, and I wasn't terribly upset with what we got. However, it wasn't the greatest thing that I've seen this year, and it's got some good moments. Just overall, it maybe falls short of the mark one too many times. So there you have it, guys. That's my real review of Ju-On Origins. Comes out this week, and I'm super excited for you guys to watch it, and I want you to let me know what you think in the comments below. Go ahead and get loud, and don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't already, guys, go ahead and smash that big red button below and subscribe to the channel and tap on that bell as well. If you missed it in the beginning, I am going to watch Hamilton this weekend, so I'm super excited, and I might have to stomach the live action The Last Airbender movie. Man, what am I doing to myself? Alrighty, I'm gonna go and try and find some Pepto-Bismol because your boy is not trying to get sick for the rest of the day. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.